Hello. I hope y'all are doing well. I've been away for a little bit. I've been ill. Got a little bit of a road of recovery ahead of me, but I'll get there. So I just wanted to pop on today, try to catch up with everybody. Appears I've missed out on quite a bit. Goodness gracious. Seems to be that there's a couple of the communities I'm involved in. I don't know. I mean, I guess the magnetic pole shift of the sun has kind of driven people crazy. Goodness gracious. Everybody's doxing people, trying what's a dox, what's not a dox. Let's go into everybody's real lives. And goodness, it's terrible. And then what's going on with the true crime arena, recent cases, old cases. It's goodness. It's just it's fodder. Just throw it all out there and see what sticks. I'm not sure with the weather that's going on here where I'm at in northwestern PA. The snow has already started here and the wind's picking up. So hopefully we'll get through at least an hour. Hi, Chatty. Good to see you. So we got UK's had some really bad weather as well. And the weather across the U.S. is we've got a bomb cyclone coming in that's going to really hit the Northeast pretty heavy. So Everybody, please be weather aware, whether you're on this coast or you're across the ocean. Pay attention to what your news agencies are saying and your own intuition when you look up there at the sky and so forth. And just be safe. Be safe. You just can't mess with wind or torrential rains or when it's dropping a foot of snow every hour. So with that, let's see, how is everybody? Like I said in my oh wow, 2 days. Are you guys were supposed to get like what? I think the AccuWeather had set up to 7 inches, which could cause flooding. And with what's already gone on in the area, oh, my heart goes out to all you guys. It really does. So as I said, I don't expect a whole lot due to weather and just, the holidays. And it's in the middle of the day. I don't expect a lot of people to come in, but I appreciate everybody that does come in or watches the replay. I had wanted to do the follow-up to the defamation earlier than 2 weeks out. However, as I said, I unexpectedly became ill. So as far as that goes, I'm going to try to fit it in today, and we can continue on that path. I also received a couple of questions, and I would like to answer those as well today. That, excuse me, apologize. To the 9 of you that did your due diligence and went through either a Twitter search or, oh, thank you, Chatty. I really appreciate it. Yeah, I am praying that the Lord guides the hands of the physicians that are treating me right now. That's my prayer at the moment. So, and I'll get through it. I've been through this before, so I know what to expect. And but yes, I appreciate any prayers that anybody would like to leave. They are very much welcomed. But as I was saying, or you went through several years past of content and located my Twitter. And I received a couple of DMs asking a couple of questions. They were good questions, and then one nasty little comment, which was essentially, what do I expect to accomplish with my quote unquote presentations, and what experience and expertise do I have to even discuss the topics? Okay, take it for what it is. You can take the information or don't take the information. I provide legitimate, authoritative sources for you to do your own research and take it from there. I do my best not to interject my personal feelings or opinions based on what I've seen onto either creators or subscribers. I speak in broad, generalized terms, simply to be aware of your surroundings. We talk about situational awareness when we're out and about, if we're walking in the city or if we're on a hike on a wooded trail or if we're beach combing. You need to be aware of your surroundings. That doesn't change just because you're online and you're sitting in the comfort of your own home or have your ear pods in while you're working and listening to content of any description. Okay, you need to be aware of what's going on around you. We learn these, as I stated a couple of streams back, we learn these things when we're young. We learn to listen and to see what's going on so we can learn appropriate cues for reactions or not to react. There's a lot of emotionally driven content on the internet, and we get in our feelings sometimes, and we have to take a step back And what we've seen, and I'm speaking specifically right now within the true crime crama, if that's what it's even called. There's a handful of channels. I personally, I don't see them as crama or true crime. It's drama. It is, let's talk about another creator's business. Let's go after another creator. And while we're at it, let's go after their mods, or let's go after their subscribers. Let's dig into why they think this way, or whatever. It's almost chaos driven in my view. And I don't want to engage in that. And I don't want that over here. So, as I said, you can take the information I provide to y'all and you can use it or don't use it, or just come and hang out and talk amongst yourselves. It's that simple. And if you, on my community post from the last live stream, I had brought up that what we were just speaking about through the live stream is regarding defamation, and how chats get riled up, and how misinformation, or not necessarily misinformation, but ill-informed comments. If you don't have all the facts, and if you're not fully informed on a topic, then you're not necessarily aware that what you're speaking about. Hi, Lucky. Thank you so much for coming in. I really appreciate it. I am happy to have you here. Yes, I'm very happy to have you here. I'm glad to see that we do have a couple of people here this afternoon. So I'm not just talking to myself as I generally do at home with my cats. Okay, that's a joke, y'all. I do have cats, but I don't wander around the house talking to my cats all day long. But excuse me. But oh yeah, as what I was saying was, if you're not informed on something and then you make a comment somewhere, if you're unaware, hey, Troll Investigates, good to have you here as well. If you're unaware of what you're speaking about, you don't know if you're saying something wrong. So in my community post, I just wanted to point that out, that there was a comment that said XYZ, but it was incorrect. And the chat ran with it, and the panel on that particular channel also continued to engage as if that singular comment was based in fact. And I just wanted to point out that this is how these things happen, and point out that that was an incorrect statement that was made within the chat. And then it was suggested, I don't want to say I was accused, but it was suggested that I was trying to humiliate somebody, or that I was attacking a subscriber. And that wasn't my intent at all. I understand how this particular community is. You got to have receipts, a picture, it didn't happen, a screenshot, or it didn't happen. I thought I was following the protocol of this particular community in providing when, where, and by whom as a receipt. I took that information that was given to me via the feedback, and I removed the chatter's name. But the premise is still the same. It was an incorrect statement that was made, and therefore a conversation was had around that statement that was incorrect. So everything was, I think you all understand what I mean. Hi, Paula. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Okay. Just checking the chat again. Oh, yes. I just see Lucky put the Jolly Roger out there. Prayers for Savage Live Media and members of her family. They had a loss. They have my condolences, heartfelt condolences. Something I firmly believe, that it's our memories that bind us together to our families and to our friends. And when we share those memories, we are honoring the people that have passed away. And you can always find joy in your memories. And so my heart goes out to Savage and her family. So we'll take a moment and just keep them also in your thoughts and in your prayers. One moment, please. I am going to just take a quick moment here. Because of the weather, I just received a text message. Okay. Okay, the heavier snow band is about 20 minutes away. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into the presentation so we can get this going. I was talking about the people that contacted me via Twitter. I'm glad you found me. I wasn't hiding. As you could see, I had years of always having my Twitter handle has always been public. I removed it off of my YouTube about section simply because I was away from YouTube. I was away basically from the internet for several years while I was going through an intense physical rehabilitation program after breaking my back. So it wasn't nothing nefarious. So it's Wendy Blank. I'm Wendy Blank all over the internet. That is my online name. So I wasn't hiding anything from anybody as far as that goes. I shouldn't have to apologize for not having my Twitter handle on my YouTube. But I will. I'm sorry if you thought I was trying to hide something. I was not. But let's get into this presentation about conjecture and how it impacts what we have going on here. So, conjecture, supposition, assumption, or speculation. Usual disclaimer, nothing in this presentation is to be taken as legal advice. This presentation is simply a visual guide referring to the consequences of free expression when tied to speculation, accusation, falsehoods, and conjecture, slander, and or libel, commonly known as defamation. Do your own research. Okay. Bear with me. As I said, I have been ill. Conjecture. In a legal sense, the term conjecture refers to guesswork, meaning it is a supposition based on theory or opinion without substantial evidence. Conjectures are often based on the way a situation appears rather than on solid proof. For instance, the media often makes conjectures about the state of celebrities' marriages based on rumor and photos submitted by unsubstantiated sources. To explore this concept, consider the following conjecture definitions. Definition of conjecture: noun, the expression of a theory or an opinion based on speculation without substantial proof, a conclusion reached by guesswork. Origin is 1350 to 1400, Middle English. What is conjecture? Conjecture is a theory based on evidence with only a slight degree of credibility. It is an idea, fact, or potential cause or occurrence as suggested by another fact which is too feeble to prove the idea. A conjecture is even less substantial than a hypothesis, which is generally based on well-accepted facts. For instance, it is well known that moisture evaporates into the atmosphere over time. A hypothesis could be made then that the water level in a man-made pond could become lower and lower, eventually causing problems for the fish in the pond. By contrast, a conjecture relies on facts that are likely to be true based on other facts, though they may not be true. Someone engaging in conjecture may ask that a certain fact be considered true based on related facts for the purposes of making a point or coming to a decision. Hi, Andres. Good to see you. Happy to have you back. Okay, substantial evidence. What is substantial evidence? In differentiating between conjecture and reasonable inference, the term substantial evidence is often used. Substantial evidence is enough to lead a reasonable person to a specific conclusion. The U.S. Supreme Court has defined substantial evidence as more than a mere scintilla, and such relevant evidence as a reasonable mind might accept as adequate to support a conclusion. Substantial evidence is not the same thing as any evidence. In order for evidence to be credible enough to support a verdict, it must provide adequate proof of each of the essential elements of a case. Still, inferences may be made as long as they are the result of logic and sound reasoning based on the available evidence. An inference based on conjecture cannot be used to make a legal determination. In the scientific field, substantial evidence results from controlled trials, investigations, and clinical studies carried out by qualified experts. Source for this, if you'd like to research it further, is legaldictionary.net. I want to believe that we're all aware of these concepts. We're all aware of these words and what they mean and how we use them in our everyday life. However, within the true crime, crama, drama community, some of FE, and even in some of the research communities on YouTube and online through forums and everything, everything is becoming so emotionally knee-jerk reaction driven. What I spoke about in the previous presentation, and I speak about often, is comprehension skills. Don't just hear, but listen to what's being said. Ask questions. And especially with podcasts, in the format that we have here on YouTube, is anybody can fire up a channel. Anybody can create a channel. Hi, Grandma Sherry. Thank you for popping in as well. I appreciate it. Anybody can fire up a channel. Anybody can be an authority on anything. People that have good oratory skills, they can convince you that the sky is yellow and the grass is purple. You can, if somebody speaks well enough, and what's the term that some people can BS their way through life and always come out smelling like a rose. It doesn't matter how wrong they've been or how outrageous their behavior, but they're always accepted back into polite society. And that could be seen as a pro, it could be seen as a con, but why does that happen? Is it, it's a thought experiment. Why does that happen? Why? Because we like to give people second chances. And how that relates to what we're seeing in certain cases right now, as far as the true crime community is concerned, is the podcasters, or I hate to call them creators, but the channel hosts, they are engaging in so much conjecture. And if you're a part of that arena, you see what's happened. We're talking thousands of people all run with the same false information. It's mind-boggling, and it doesn't matter how many times or how many other channels pop up that say, hey, listen, this is incorrect. This is not what was stated, or we don't even have any, they're creating fiction. And it has a real world impact on, dare I say, the victims. And I don't want, but they are victims. They are now victims of social media hype, social media accusation, social media rumor, speculation. It's all there, but you can see how this could lead to defamatory statements. Hi, Chopper. Thanks for coming in. So, does anybody have any questions thus far? So, Chopper says that he does have a video now that teaches someone how to be a tragedy pimp. Oh, I think I did see that one. Okay. All right. Okay. So, no questions? Okay, let's keep going. Okay. Conjecture to hearsay. It's damaging to conjecture and pass on hearsay without any details. It's best to share honest information and evidence. So much damage happens when people just pass on rumors or bits of stories that damage reputations and hurt people. Well, Chopper, I don't think people start out with a lack of intelligence. I think they get so wrapped up. I think they get so wrapped up in what becomes an echo chamber that they don't want to be wrong. They don't want their stance to be incorrect, because it goes back to that unconscious. Nobody likes to be humiliated. Nobody likes to feel embarrassed. And not having that humility means that they'll appear foolish. And that's and then a lot of it has to do that human interaction, the physical human interaction, being in society, being part of a flesh and blood community, has slowly been ripped away from us because of the digital realm, because of the internet. Because you don't get those facial cues, you don't get the body language cues, you don't get the tone and tenor of a conversation or a comment. So you're flying blind in a sense. So emojis are out there to try to give you that cue, but also too, this is not that I'm gonna let y'all know right now. In the last day and a half that I've come back and have gone back and reviewed streams from bits and pieces of clips that I've seen, I am absolutely appalled. I am disgusted. It makes me physically ill to see the way some people behave and what they have done to other human beings. It's not even dragging them for filth. It's putting them out there on full display. How many of these channels behave this way out in the real world? Do they go and walk down Main Street of where they live and start going, hey, look, I've got Joe Smith's police report. Hey, look, this chick over here that gets on my nerves, she lives down this road. Just, do you behave this way and rant and rave and carry on this way in the public square off the internet? Because it's disturbing the peace, it's invasion of privacy, it's antisocial behavior. It's mind-boggling to me that there's 1,000 people sitting in a chat room or on a panel thinking that it's acceptable to be so nasty to another human being that you've never met in your entire life. And that's what I'm saying. This isn't a crama situation or true crime community. It is literally creator going after creator going after. So it's just, okay, we've got all these, 28,000 people that all frequent the same chats or watch the same people. So in a sense, it's a community by proxy. So let's see who can get to the bottom quicker. It's disgusting. It's effing disgusting, and I don't want to be a part of that. I'm not going to hang out in chats that are having goes at people to that extent. And I don't, it's all fun and games until one of the people that happens to be sitting at home in their living room sees what's going on and says, this person is a piece of garbage. They need dealt with. And next thing you know, you've got somebody because everything is knee jerk. And if somebody has been sucked into that bubble, that it's like a vacuum is created, that the only information they're getting is from this one source. And if that one source is not giving information anymore, but it's going after another human being, the ramifications of that are horrible. And we see news stories about this stuff. We see news stories because I really think people need to wake up and pay attention to what they're consuming, because are you contributing to it? It's one thing to say, you know what, I don't want to be a part of it, and you step away. But at the same token, spending 6 hours pointing out somebody else's flaw that's not appropriate either. It's, in my view, okay, I don't see how it serves the greater good. I don't see how it I don't even think that's the purpose of human beings, to be so vile and vulgar towards one another. Point out what they've done wrong or how they've harmed someone, and point somebody in the direction to see it for themselves if you must. But what I have seen, and the thing of it is, if you've been online long enough, you've seen it happen in almost every community you've been in. We saw it happen within FE in the truther movement, where it went away from trying to recreate experiments from antiquity and to, maybe try to form new ideas or to bring awareness to nefarious things that are going on within our government, or from a local or a federal level, to try to get to the bottom. You question, you want to get to the bottom, you want to try to find answers. Then it turns into going after another researcher or another creator. You see it in the real world where, for example, during the pandemic, if somebody went against the party line, the government narrative, they were ostracized, their credentials were removed from them and everything. It was a discreditation process, and that's going to lead to what all this goes down to is a limited hangout. And oh, what the heck, hold on guys, I'm getting another weather alert. Okay, guys, I'm going to be right back. I am going to put you on. I will be right back. Give me literally give me 3 minutes. 3 minutes. I'll be right back. Okay, thank you guys for waiting. Thank you guys for waiting. I'm so sorry. I had to step away and take care of something. The snow band is really coming in, and so is the wind right now. So I had to take care of something. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna move. Oh dear goodness. I'm gonna move this along because I have my little portable. Okay. Yeah. My winter preps. I've got everything going here, but it is starting to get nasty out, and I do want to continue with this because one of the questions I received on the Twitter DM was I've mentioned a limited hangout and limited hangouts several times, and I didn't realize that a lot of people, well, at least one other person was unaware of actually what a limited hangout is and what it's about and why do I bring it up. So I'm going to give me a moment to catch my breath. Oh, you guys are playing I Spy. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick drink. All right, thank you guys so much for waiting. I do appreciate it. So let's get back to conjecture to hearsay. go back over. It's damaging to conjecture and pass on hearsay without any details. It's best to share honest information and evidence. So much damage happens when people just pass on rumors or bits of stories that damage reputations and hurt people. Often, when there are no good avenues, patterns, or support for transparency and communication, this happens in organizations and it's not positive. Hearsay in a legal forum is an out-of-court statement which is being offered in court for the truth of what was asserted. In most courts, hearsay evidence is inadmissible, the hearsay evidence rule, unless an exception to the hearsay rule applies. The hearsay rule does not exclude the evidence if it is an operative fact. Language of commercial offer and acceptance is also admissible over a hearsay exception because the statements have independent legal significance. There's something called double hearsay, and you can click on, take a screenshot of this. The next couple of slides are, I'm not gonna read them all out, but they'll be up there and you can take a screenshot. And I also have already created the presentation to be uploaded separately with the AI narration over everything with the source links and source materials for anybody in the future. So this particular portion here on conjecture and conjecture to hearsay in a general sense and in the legal sense will be a standalone video for y'all. So hi, Sinner. Thanks for coming in. If I've missed somebody, I apologize. I did have to step away, and I don't know. Seems like I don't get very many chats over on the stream side, and pop back over to the YouTube side. Limited Hangout sounds like an online red light district. Oh, goodness sakes. It very well could be, honestly. But okay. Many jurisdictions that generally disallow hearsay evidence in courts permit the more widespread use of hearsay in non-judicial hearings. Okay. Okay, 18. And then the next several slides are the exception to hearsay. And you can go to the www.law.cornell.edu/rules/rule_803, and that will give you the full detailed legal concept of exception to hearsay, as well as the rules and case law and the purposes why hearsay is not permitted in court. No, Paula, I'm not streaming on X, but I still have an X account. I haven't figured out how to stream to Rumble, and I haven't figured out how to stream to X yet either. Everything has changed. You used to be able just to go in and throw in your keys, and you could go out there and do it with OBS. OBS doesn't even want to seem, well, OBS works fine, but YouTube doesn't appear to want to accept it from me at the moment. That's why I'm relying on Restream. No, Chopper, they don't understand that hearsay is not evidence. And I don't think a lot of people in the case community understand that what they're engaging in is hearsay, and it has an impact in the court of public opinion. And I feel safe in saying that 2,312 YouTubers and 1,800 viewers aren't going to be solving a bunch of cases any day soon. And while there is improvements being made to crowdsourcing investigations, the layperson isn't an integral key to solving crime in that respect. You need to understand, people need to understand their role. And what we've seen develop is channels taking on a role that doesn't belong to them in the broader sense of a quote unquote case. It's beyond discussion. It's not productive discussion. Now, they may see it as productive, but if you sit back and see what's going on, and I would challenge several of the creators to sit back and actually, with an objective eye, watch their own streams and really pay attention and listen to what they're saying and what they're allowing their panel guests to say, and there's how the selection of different comments that they choose to post publicly to push out to the stream. And I challenge them to come back and tell me that what they're saying is A, factual, B, impactful in a positive light, C, what they're doing, how does that further an investigation into a missing or unsolved deceased individual, or trying to crack how a bank got robbed, who might be the bank, take it from any avenue. I challenge them to really look at what they're doing and come back with not emotive reasons, but logical reasons by what they're doing has merit and how it's going to benefit anybody but themselves and their bottom line. Take that for what it's worth. I absolutely agree, Sinner. And the crowdsourcing of cold cases, there's a way about going about it. If you're interested in doing that and you want to have a positive impact, then you join a legitimate group. You take the classes, you take the coursework, you take the training that's offered, you allow yourself to be mentored by somebody that has experience in a specific field of study, or is a former investigator, detective, pattern recognition, whatever their field is, whatever their expertise is. Allow yourself to be mentored in that. And then you get together in the real world for this, or you're given access to an online environment where now you have the tools necessary to do this. I'm sorry, what we see going on YouTube is not how it's done, and it is having a harmful impact on the people that are attached to these cases, whether you want to see it or not. Okay. And snide comments that, well, we're putting the pressure to bear. We're putting the pressure to bear. We're putting the boot on the neck of so-and-so, so they'll crack. Crack for what? There's not a scintilla of freaking evidence that is out in the public sphere that says that XYZ or Jim, Bob, Becky, Veronica, and Taylor have absolutely anything to do with what you're discussing. You're pulling, you're you're spinning a web. You're spinning yarns. Okay, yarn is not just thread. Yarn is also a tale, a story, a narrative. It's fiction. And it's frustrating. It's absolutely frustrating. And what's even more frustrating for me is when I see people that are supposedly respected because they come from a specific profession engaging in the same hearsay, the same conjecture, the same rhetoric, the same drama. That's not professional. And again, it's one thing if it's a couple of you at a sewing circle or at a coffee clutch at your kitchen table in the privacy of your own home, and you want to sit there with your girlfriends or your neighbors or whatever and say, I think this, I have questions about this. There is a difference than doing it to 1,200 people and using your channel as if it's your kitchen, because it's not private. It is available for the 1 billion plus people that use the platform. And I hear people say, oh, well, hashtags don't matter. Hashtags don't matter. That's not true. As far as for you personally, they may not matter or help your channel, but there is still a large audience that when they go to do a search, they hashtag XYZ, and then it pulls up all the channels. So those hashtags still have a place in the search function, not in pushing out your content, but for people to find it via that hashtag. So when you're hashtagging missing children or, let the truth be told, Jim Bob, it's I'm not the moral authority, and I don't want to come off that way. I'm just very angered. Very angered by so much of what I have seen. Oh, hi, Earth. Thank you so much for coming in. Summer, also great to see you. Thank you. Thank you. Now I've been on a soapbox here, so let me move on. You can screenshot that and okay. Let's move on to what is a limited hangout. What is a limited hangout? A limited hangout is intelligence jargon for a form of propaganda in which a selected portion of a scandal, criminal act, sensitive or classified information, etc., is revealed or leaked without telling the whole story. The intention may be to establish credibility as a critic of something or somebody by engaging in criticism of them while in fact covering up for them by omitting many details. To distance oneself publicly from something using innocuous or vague criticism, even when one's own sympathies are privately with them, or to divert public attention away from a more heinous act by linking information about something less heinous. This is a common tactic used by political extremist groups on both ends of the political spectrum, as well as by government intelligence agencies caught in scandals. Selective reporting is a sort of flip side of a limited hangout. Deliberate over-reporting of minor events to make a political point or to stir up moral panic. That's a basic definition. You can get that through Rational Wiki if you'd like. You can do your own research. Now, I want you to pay close attention to what this is. I am not in any way, shape, or form implying, saying, or want any inferences drawn that I am saying that this is going on deliberately by a government agency or a law enforcement or a private contractor in certain cases within this true crime, crama, drama community. I'm bringing it up simply because take a look at what you see. Okay. It's already being brought out. I've seen a couple of creators now have been going on about how come the narrative changes? How come the optics are changing? This right here is why. Now, is this forming organically through this case or through other cases? Did this come about organically by the players that are involved? Or are people putting themselves, have people inserted themselves, lay people that want to feel important and are using these techniques? Okay. Are they using these techniques in the various communities online? I just want you to be aware of it. Listen, what you're seeing, the broader picture. Okay. What is a limited or modified hangout? Limited hangout or partial hangout is a public relations or propaganda technique. I want you to be aware of that. Okay. Public relations, PR, spokesperson, propaganda, etc., that involves the release of previously, quote unquote, hidden information in order to prevent a greater exposure of more important details. It takes the form of deception, misdirection, or cover up, often associated, again, with intelligence agencies, involving a release or a mea culpa type of confession of only part of a set of previously hidden sensitive information. Again, I'm not saying that there is a government plot here or a conspiracy here. I'm just making you aware of what this is, and ask yourself, are you seeing it within the community that you hang out in? Are you seeing these type of things? Are these type of things happening organically? Or have people inserted themselves, and is this now the result of their insertion? It's a question to be asked, okay? A limited hangout typically is a response to lower the pressure felt from inquisitive investigators pursuing clues that threaten to expose everything, and the disclosure is often combined with red herrings or propaganda, false leads, distractions, ideological disinformation, thus allowing covert or criminal elements to continue in their improper activities. Victor Marchetti wrote, "A limited hangout is spy jargon for a favorite and frequently used gimmick of the clandestine professionals. When their veil of secrecy is shredded and they can no longer rely on a phony cover story to misinform the public, they resort to admitting, sometimes even volunteering, some of the truth while still managing to withhold the key and damaging facts in the case. The public, however, is usually so intrigued by the new information that it never thinks to pursue the matter further." The phrase has been cited as a summation of the strategy of mixing partial admission with misinformation and resistance to further investigation, and is used in political commentary to accuse people or groups. Now that you know conjecture, hearsay, and what a limited or modified hangout is, ask yourself, what are you seeing in the communities you frequent? Ask yourself why you see certain things. Start listening and paying attention. Why are certain people, places, and things being brought up and gone after? Why are such personal attacks being gone after? Why? Is it just to create controversy? Is it just to create content to get eyes on your page, on your channel, to generate more donos? Yes, of course it is. But while they're doing that, the harm that's being caused, the emotional, the psychological, not just to the person that they're going after, but to their audience. Again, you never know who else is sitting on the other side of that screen watching your content. You don't know what troubles they have. You don't know how mentally stable they are. You don't know how deep in the rabbit hole they've gone. I'm just asking, as a fellow creator, as another human being, to be mindful when you're putting stuff out there. Bring the full context and bring up why you want to discuss it. That's all. Hopefully you all have, I've given you all something to think about. Yes, Senator, you're former military. I'm sure you have. Yeah, there are trolls everywhere, but you know, there's a difference between just somebody that just gets off on being an asshole, pardon my language, on the internet, and then actual troll farms that their goal is to disrupt and cause chaos because it drives the algorithm. And that's going to lead all this. It's all being done online. All this is being pushed online in the digital world. And because of this, you're not seeing the real world impact. So many people don't see the real world impact. And the fact that we do have the 140 character news cycle at our fingertips every nanosecond of the day, you're inundated with information. You can get information. So now you expect it. So people that have nobody is owed anything, but you see these channels, and I'm not just speaking specifically to true crime, crama. This is across social media, especially across the YouTube. YouTubia is full of it. Every community expects that they demand answers from people they don't even know, that don't even affect your life. Had it not been for the internet, would you even know that there was a teenager missing in Saskatchewan? Would you even know that a bank was robbed in Toledo? Would you even know that, you know, because of the direct access to information, we know everything from everywhere. And because of that, we expect that when we have a question, it needs to be answered, and it needs to be answered now, and it needs to be answered to our satisfaction. But that is not how, out in the real world, in the physical world, that is not how we exist. That's not how we live. And if you do live in your real world is like that, where you are bam, 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 please tell me, where do you live? Where do you live in a place that physically you're receiving every answer to every question that you ask from people that you don't even know? I guess my point today is reach deep inside and find your humanity, because we're losing it. We're losing it every day. And the more you engage in supposition, assumption, speculation, hearsay, conjecture, rumor, narrative spinning, you're losing more of what makes you compassionate, understanding, empathetic, that makes you kind, what makes you human, and not just a part of the machine that demands, that needs to be fed information so you feel like you have a place and that you're accomplishing something. So hopefully I haven't pissed too many people off, but at the same token, I just think it's really important. You know, all I can do is my part, and this is my part. And I just really hate to see how there's just a lack of kindness. So that'll be for the next one, guys. Yeah, Paul, it's been doing that. Also, too, the algorithm is really, they're allowing the AI too much control over it. It's no longer a human being that programs and sets a little tick onto your channel or onto your Google account to track and follow you. It's becoming much more insidious, and be aware of that too, y'all, because you're being driven to content. If you're not paying attention, you're being driven towards something that will put you in that echo chamber just to leave you in a vacuum. I really appreciate y'all being here, but the snow is really starting to lay now and accumulate, so I am going to get off here. I'm going to go put some bird seed out for the wildlife, some corn for the deer, and make sure that there is fresh water for the animals for the wildlife when they come through as the temperatures drop tonight. I want y'all to stay safe out there. Be weather aware of your own community. And if you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. Again, my intent is not to hurt anyone's feelings. I just want y'all to think about what you're being exposed to and how often you're being exposed to it. And are you being driven by an external force type of thing? Just be aware. And people are trying to get our goats. They're goading you in to responses. And, be aware of that. I really appreciate y'all being here. And as I said, I will go ahead and give the standalone presentation. Again, it's just, the normal 5 or 6 minutes on the conjecture and hearsay. And hope to be seeing y'all out there. And as I said at the beginning, if you do pray, I am asking to be lifted up right now because I am dealing with something. And I have faith. I have faith in the Lord, and I pray that He will guide my physicians. So y'all be well, you be joyful, and don't lose your humanity. Be kind, and I will be seeing you around the corner. All right, bye now.